So happy. I'm so happy to be back with you all. Let me see if I can get Instagram going. All right. Yay. Okay. So I voted, and I spent the morning as a poll monitor, a nonpartisan person that helps people who have trouble at the polls. Maybe they can't vote, they might be in the wrong place, whatever. And I'm happy to report that, hi Gabriella! Thanks for showing up. It's so great to meet you again, to see you again. Wasn't that the best day? That was the best day. So I spent the morning as a poll watcher helping folks that might not be able to, that maybe just needed some help with their voting. I helped no one. Nobody had problems where I was stationed. Everybody seemed to be a good polling place. It's my polling place, so everybody's always really nice and organized and stuff there. But I did not feel like the time was wasted because I was sitting under a big tree, which is always my happy place, and was so interesting was, and this is something I'm going to be talking about with my women's group that I lead as we get a little closer to the full moon. What I thought was so interesting is as I sat, because it was an amazing trip. I'm so glad I got to meet you too. And thank you for being here. So what's so cool was because I'm a nonpartisan poll watcher, I'm not a partisan poll watcher is a different thing. Partisan poll watchers, and this isn't about politics, so bear with me for a minute. Partisan poll watchers represent each party, and they can be inside, they're specially trained, and they can be inside the voting place to report. They can't preach, or anything like that. They can't really talk to voters. They can't do anything like that, but they're watching. The nonpartisan poll watcher is outside, so outside the place where people can be holding signs or anything like that. And I guess it's pretty calm in my neighborhood. There was no signs or nobody even out there, which was a relief. But my job was to help anybody that had any questions or had any hiccups or anything like that, so to put them in touch with the right resources, nonpartisan. What was so fun is because I had to be outside, the polling places have a barrier. You have to be outside. It's not a physical barrier, but you have to be outside of 150 yards, 150 feet, something like that. So within a certain spot to help prevent voter intimidation and, trying to sway people one way or the other. So where I was literally across the street, and it was so cute because my son used to go to preschool right there. So it's across the street, and I had my little sign that said, I'm a nonpartisan poll watcher trained, and I'm here to help. And so I had my little sign, and as people would pull in or out of the polling center, I would wave at them, and they would wave it back at me. And it was so wonderful because so many people waved back, gave me a big smile, and many people gave me a thumbs up, thanks for being out here. A couple people rolled down their window to say such things. And only one person, a couple people drove by really slowly trying to read the sign, what is she doing? Am I political? Am I, a protester? What was it about? I'm it says right on my sign, I'm here to help. But only one guy drove by in his SUV and was and I was oh, okay. I'm glad he didn't need any help. But my point of the story is the ripples. So, and this is what I'm going to be talking about with my group as we get closer to the full moon. So, with energy that we send out from the heart, because I wasn't there to political anything, I was just there to help. And I had a whole list of phone numbers and resources for people if they were in the wrong place or they had a question or whatever, so that I could genuinely help, make sure that they were able to cast a legal vote. That was my whole point, purpose of being there. But what happens is every person that we greet with love and every person that we wave and we smile, and even if maybe you didn't feel like it, in that moment, maybe I was talking to my mom on the phone and I just not that my mom's awesome, but every person that we meet with love. And I did meet a gentleman today who had a t-shirt that said, love is the way forward, and he had a tattoo on his calf that said, love is the way forward. A really nice guy with, and if you follow me at all, love is the engine of the universe. I say this all the time. Love is the engine of the universe. And so what was so remarkable is about the ripples, right? And if you followed me for a while, you've heard me talk about how we cavitate off of each other. The energy that we send out love, that we meet up with, like if you dropped pebbles in the water, you have those rings, right? And your rings come out and my rings come out and our rings meet and we make a bigger ring. And it's such a wonderful thing to see this in action. All these people that drove by, they waved and smiled and they drove off smiling. Oh, sorry, I dropped my phone. Poor Instagram. And so the whole point of the conversation was about the ripples and, hi Jamie, and what we send out into the lives of others. And so it's so important that we are aware of this energy and this energy, because not everybody waved at me. Okay, whatever. Not everybody smiled. Okay, whatever. Because none of that had anything to do with me. The only guy that had anything to do with me and really didn't was the one guy that was like, rolled his eyes at me like that. Again, that still doesn't have anything to do with me. But that was the only moment of mostly what I was met with was smiles and waves or indifference. All good. Again, nothing to do with me. And the only guy who rolled his eyes. And again, that's not me. That has nothing to do with me. He doesn't even know me. And I wasn't out there waving a sign for a candidate or anything. I literally said, I am here to help. And if you'd be standing anywhere else, if you had a sign that said, my sign said I'm a nonpartisan, trained nonpartisan poll watcher, I'm here to help. But if you had a sign anywhere else that said, ask me, I'm here to help, what would the reactions of people to be around you? And so this is the thing I want to talk about is how conscious are you of the ripples that you send out, the energy that you're sending out to the people you're coming in contact with. Are you sending out ripples of love? Are you sending out ripples of a barrier or hostility? And there's not a right or a wrong answer, because there are certain people we need to have those barriers, right? And we don't need to send hostility, so maybe that's not the right answer. But when we approach situations with love, we radiate that back. It is reflected back. And it's so interesting to see people with t-shirts that say, love is the answer, love is the way forward. And every person that I met, save one, had either a positive reaction or no reaction. And really the people that had no reaction were mostly looking at their phones while they were driving. So that was a little bit scary. But it's how we show up. It's the energy we put out in the world that shares with the universe what energy we expect to come back. I am expecting to be well received. I am expecting to be able to show up in a positive way. I am expecting that the people I will interact with will receive me or have no need of me, which is not a value judgment at all. If you don't need my service, you don't need my service, whether it's psychic work or Mary Kay work or being a poll monitor. And none of that is personal because it has nothing to do with me. It's like if you offered somebody a stick of gum and they said no thank you, it is not a personal judgment. And so I really want to talk about, because I don't know where you all may be, but if you saw the moon the other night, it was just spectacular. It's like coming into the first quarter. It was just absolutely beautiful. And next Sunday will be the full moon. And so this is the time, right, where the energy is building. The energy is coming up. And this is the time where we're really looking at what are we putting out in the world. And so I want to encourage you to take a moment to just breathe in some love, right? Just think about puppies and chocolate and, fuzzy bunnies or whatever it is that makes you smile. Grandchildren or relatives, a big fat tax refund. I don't know, whatever it is that makes you smile. Think about that. Breathe that in. And now take that love, that joy, and imagine pushing it out in every direction, like how you pop your ears on an airplane, right? You close your nose and you blow and you expand that bubble. It's the same with our energy. We don't have to close our nose, but just Expand that energy. Imagine expanding that love energy in every different direction. If that's what helps you, go ahead, close your nose if that's what helps you. But imagine that we're expanding that energy into all these different directions, up, down, front, back, side to side. We've expanded this energy. And now we're going to take this energy and we're going to push it out in all those directions, further past me, past you, past your own circle. We're going to push that energy out in every direction so that we are radiating that love. Because what happens is our bubble of love goes boink, boink, and it bangs up against somebody else's, like if you've seen video games and they go boink, and it's going to bounce off of the other person. But when we bounce off, they take some of that with us. We take some of theirs with us. But if our love is strong and our barriers and our boundaries are strong, our aura is strong, then we're not taking on any of their negative stuff. Like that guy just goes, and I'm like, what? Whatever, bye. Okay, we don't take on that negative stuff. So the more we can fill ourselves with love and push that out, expand our energy, the more we are protecting ourselves from the whatever that's out there. But when we bump up against those other people, they're going to take that piece of us with them, and they're going to radiate back to us that love. We can shift, literally shift, the energy of the people around us by radiating love. And so this is what I want to talk about, because it isn't about making a tidal wave of impact. It isn't. And there are some people that will be those outliers that are making tidal waves of impact, for good or for not good. You have somebody like Kanye West who is out there making a tidal wave of not good. But then you have other people like Amanda Gorman. I'm trying to stay in that realm for whatever reason. But Amanda Gorman, who's made a tidal wave of good. And so there are those people who will go out and be in the world and create a tidal wave of change, of impact, of whatever. But we're not supposed to measure up to that, because that's probably not our path. Our path is to make the ripples and to make those impacts locally. We make the impact with our family, how we treat each other, how we raise our children, that we teach them to operate from a place of love and compassion and respect. I'm not a huge fan of the word tolerance, because tolerance suggests that I don't agree or think you really have the right to whatever, but I'm just going to tolerate you, right? We tolerate pain, but we don't like it. Now, we don't have to like everything, but we have to respect things. We have to respect each other. We respect the earth. We respect pain, because pain comes into the body to tell us something. Comes into the body, and when we just ignore it and we tolerate it or we medicate it, we're not learning because we're not listening. And so this period of time that I'm talking about, I want to really encourage you as we move from this first quarter to the full moon to really take some time to look at what are you filling yourself with, okay? And what are you radiating out? And so even before you leave the house in the morning, just be like, puppies, chocolate, butterflies, whatever it is, load it up. Yes, trees. Push it out in every direction. And now you are armed for the day so that you can go out and meet the people you will come into contact with love. And as you meet those people with love, then you are able to have an impact on their day, on their world. Whether it's within your home or without your home, you have the ability to make that impact on another person. And then they take that with them and they radiate it back to you, and they take it with them and they go and impact the people that they're going to come in contact with. And this is how we change the vibration of the earth. By radiating kindness, compassion, love, respect, compassion. I will use compassion. Compassion and love, truly the engines of the universe. So how we are going out in the world and what we are radiating, because so many of us, we go out in the world and we're not radiating anything because we're in. Just gotta go run my errands, I'm going to work, don't talk, I'm in. And if that's where you need to be, then that's fine. No judgment. But how we change the world, how we shift the energy and how we change the vibration is not by hiding. And I'm not talking about, last week we talked a lot about staying in your lane. I'm not talking about staying in your lane. I'm not talking about, but I am talking about not having blinders. But I'm not talking about staying in your lane. You stay in your lane, you walk your path, you do you, we don't compare to other people. But at the same time, radiating, what are we sending out? It's like your perfume or cologne, if you think about it that way. If you put on a whole bunch of cologne or perfume and you go out into the world, what are you radiating? Are you radiating something yummy or something stinky? Okay, and that's a very simple analogy, but it's the same kind of a thing. We put this on, we put this in, we bring in love to be able to radiate it out. What is it that you want to put out? Because as we're coming into that full moon, really it's the time for us to take a look at how we are impacting the world around us, right? Because we come up in that full moon energy and we're starting to look around and be like, all right, what's going on? And what do we need to shift before that energy comes back down to the next new moon? But at the same time, I feel like we often get caught up in enoughness, right? We've talked about enoughness a lot. It's not about being enough. It's not about doing enough. It's not about making those tidal wave impacts. It's about making a lot of smaller impacts. A lot of smaller impacts. So when I was in Washington, the day, 2 days before the wedding, we had flown into Washington on the Saturday, and we spent the day going around Seattle. And when we were down by Pike's Place Market, and we went down to the water by Puget Sound, and there's a whole beach area below the sculpture, this like big sculpture park, and down by the water, and you can like put your feet in Puget Sound if you want to. It's very cold, but I put my fingers in, and there's all these logs, big giant logs that have washed up or been placed, and so you can sit. It kind of looks like log bleachers, like you might see around a campfire. And we sat there and we were just visiting and talking with our friends, and I was listening to the water, and I kept hearing this crackle, 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 crackle. I'm like, what is that? And the water would come in and the water would go out, because it's not the ocean. The ocean is out past the outer islands, but it's crackle, crackle, crackle. It sounded like popcorn, or like popcorn popping. I'm like, what is that? And I realized, because it wasn't, it's a beach, but it's not a sand beach. It was a beach of pebbles. And it was a beach of pebbles, and as the water would go back out and it would roll across the pebbles, it made this popping sound, pop, 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 like crackling oil or popcorn popping. And it was just fascinating, because one pebble couldn't do it, but a whole pile of pebbles could make this cacophony of noise, this beautiful symphony of sound that I never heard and totally forgot to record. But it was a fascinating thing, because we get so caught up in how much impact can one make. And it isn't about us making a big splash. It's about making a lot of little impacts that will help make an impression or make a change for somebody else, that make a change for somebody else, make a change for somebody else. And so as we're moving through and into this next week of coming into that full moon time, I want to really encourage you to take some time to say, okay, what am I doing? How am I showing up in the world? But not about, am I doing enough? Because if you are making your soul happy, then it is enough. It is enough. Because when we are working from a place of making our soul happy, the radiation of the love is exponential. When you're spending time in maybe a job that you're not liking, or it's not a good fit, or whatever it is, you can get caught up in the negative energy, and then that's what we're radiating. So take some time in the mornings to just breathe in, even just for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Just breathe in love, or whatever it is. Feel excited, feel love. Fill your bubble, fill your vessel. Push it out. Visualize pushing it out in all the directions. Up, down, front, back, right, left, all around you, pushing it out. I'm just going to radiate love today. Even when people suck, I'm going to radiate love today. Because there's always, somebody that could be sucky. Hopefully not. But even if people suck, I'm going to radiate love. And how just that little thing changes your energy and how you show up in the world. And it's amazing how that changes how people bounce off your bubble and how you can impact their bubble. And so even if you're not right where you want to be, start here. Because when you radiate this energy, you are shifting the universe to move the cogs of the universe to say, well, she's not right where she wants to be. Well, where does she want to be? Let's move some things around so that she can be. because the power of love energy is so much stronger than the power of hate and anger and resentment and jealousy and rage. Those are louder, but not stronger. Not stronger. And so as we continue to move forward to one more week of election stuff in this country and wherever you may be, remember that the voices of anger and hate and intolerance are louder, but they're not stronger. They're not stronger. When you can fill in yourself with love, fill that vessel with love, push it out in all the directions. Not only are you making an impact on yourself, on your people who are directly around you, on all the people you come into contact with, but you're also shifting the cogs of the universe to create more manifestation for you. So you better know what you want. And then at the same time, you are shifting the planet, because it isn't about enough. It isn't about am I enough or am I doing enough. It's about the small moves and the small changes that we make within self that ripple out like all those pebbles that created this beautiful symphony of crackling sounds, because there were so many of them. We all do something to create more love in the world. That is going to change the vibration of everything. Operating from love, radiating from love, because it isn't about how much you're doing. It's where you're coming from. And even if you're doing just a little, it makes a difference. And your little, if it's coming from love, may be enough to wipe out someone else's bigger negative. Because love is absolutely more powerful. All right, so let me leave you with that. All right, they were totally talking to me today about ripples and the ripples that we send out into the universe and how we show up and how we send that stuff out into the universe. So wanted to make sure to leave you with that. Okay. All right, so we're going to move into a collective card reading. I see some of you here for the first time. Yay, thank you so much for being here. Welcome, welcome. Wow. Bournemouth, good football team. And South Africa, wow, welcome, welcome, welcome. So exciting. Welcome, welcome. All right, so we're going to do a collective card reading for the group. And then after, I'm going to say it after, we'll do, time permitting, we'll do individual card readings, okay? So we're going to start with, now, just as a reminder before we get too far, the 10th of November, I'm doing a fundraiser for the Dougie Center in Portland, Oregon. It's $24 a ticket, and you can get tickets on, if you're on my Facebook page, there's a Venmo scan. If you're on Instagram, come over to my Facebook page, there's a Venmo scan. We're doing a fundraiser for the Dougie Center, and if you're on my Facebook page, you can see about my visit to the Dougie Center in Portland, Oregon. They are at the forefront of grief support for children and young adults. There is a huge need for grief education and grief support for our children. And that there are so many programs that are available for adults, and there are not programs that are available for kids. And so the Dougie Center started decades ago as the first place where kids could get grief counseling and grief support that was designed for kids who had either lost someone or kids who are facing their own mortality. And their model has been copied literally over 500 times, and they are operating in multiple countries around the world at this point. So we're going to do a fundraiser for Dougie Center on November 10th, which is a Thursday, I believe. Please let that be a Thursday. And it's going to be on Zoom, and it's going to be all mediumship. So if you have a loved one you'd like to hear from, the ticket is not a guarantee, but we're going to do I'm always going to do my best to make sure everybody can get some kind of a connection. And hopefully we'll raise some money for the Dougie Center. So it's $24 for the ticket, and if you are if you're sending the money through Venmo, just put fundraiser, and as soon as you are there, make sure your email address is attached to that so that I can send you the link to register on Zoom. So you'll be able to have the Zoom link, and I can send the Zoom link to you as well. So very excited to do something great for you all and to do something great for the Dougie Center at the same time. So, okay. So we're going to do a collective card reading. Hello, hello, hello. All the people saying hello. Gina, you know the rules. They're too early. So here's the first card that we're going to start with for today for the collective. So this is collective card reading. So this is higher power. We've been seeing this a lot coming in is higher power. They have been really trying to come in to remind us, hello, we're here, hello, we're here, and make sure that we are not trying to do everything ourselves, right? Isn't that our way? We're human. We want to just roll up our sleeves and do everything ourselves, and we're not leaning in enough to our higher support. There's so much more support and knowledge and wisdom and ability to move mountains above us, or wherever you want to, put your spirit people, your angels, guides, loved ones, whoever. But they're remembering that so many of our loved ones, and especially angels, cannot operate on our highest power or for our best good if we don't ask them. Okay, so with angels especially, they can't come in unless we welcome them. So when whatever it is that you're doing, when you're filling up the vessel in the morning with love, like we talked about, make sure you're including them. It's like, I am filling up with love, with all the things that make me happy, puppies and chocolate and whatever it is, but connecting yourself to that higher guidance, allowing them to work in your life for whatever it is that you have created that you are wanting to manifest, or something better. Leave the door open for them because they know so much more than we do. So we say, please help me create this in my life. Please help me manifest in my life. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm working towards. This or something better. We always leave the door open for them because they can do so much more than we can, and they can do so much more than we can even understand. But if we only ask for this much, this is what we're going to get. But when we leave the door open for them, they can create so much more. And it is just an amazing thing. I can't tell you how many times spirit guides, angels, loved ones have just blown the roof off of my expectations for whatever situation that we were trying to manifest. And they just blew my mind with their love and their generosity and their support. Just like, holy crap, I wanted this. And they gave me everything. So make sure that you are allowing yourself to connect into higher power. That don't forget that they're there. Don't forget we're not alone, and we don't have to do this alone. There's so much support on the other side for us. All right, so the next card is serendipity, and this is serendipity is like coincidences, things that happen in alignment. And this always, seems like it comes in so often with higher power, because they're trying to show us that when we find these coincidences, these serendipitous events in our lifetime, it's not coincidence. I personally don't believe in coincidence, but I do believe in higher power, and I do believe that they are showing up in our world in a serendipitous way to get our attention. They're trying to be like, hey, look over there. Look what I'm trying to do for you. Look what we're trying to create for you. So serendipity is so important because this is higher guidance, angels, guides, loved ones, and spirit that are trying to get your attention to say, hey, isn't that interesting? What is that? Where's that coming from? What could that mean? What could that mean? Because a lot of times we go, oh, isn't that a coincidence? And we just roll right on by and we've missed it. We've missed it. And they're over there going, sorry. They're trying to get our attention. And so it's really important that when you find serendipitous events, take a second. What is that? What are they trying to show me? What am I missing? What do I need to know? And if you stop and you say, what do I need to know? What are you trying to show me from this? Very often you'll get some kind of things that pop into your head because you've opened the door. You've opened the door for them. So we talk about allowing higher guidance and allowing spirit to work more in our lives. That means that when they do, we got to pay attention. We can't just gloss over it because they'll be like, they don't give up on us. They don't give up on us. But it takes a little longer if we are not paying attention to the signs they're trying to show us. And that's where serendipity comes in. And then the last card is in the here and now. This talks about being present in the moment. This talks about being present in the moment. It talks about appreciating what you have, staying in that place of gratitude, because we can always find something to be grateful for. Even if it's like, I woke up today, and I will tell you there have been days in my life where that is the best I could say, is I am alive and I woke up today. Sometimes when my kids were little, a shower was good. I was grateful for a shower. But when I was dealing with the depths of a deep, dark depression, some days the most I could say for a gratitude journal was, I'm still breathing. And if that's where we are, then that's okay. That's okay, because we got to start somewhere. But the more we can stay present in the moment, the more we can try to bring in that love, the more we can add things to that list of things to be grateful for, the more we can move our body physically, to move our body to, even if it's just taking a walk in nature, in some trees, something, we allow ourselves to stay grounded and connected at the same time. Okay? Grounded to Mother Earth, connected to Spirit, filling ourselves above and below with love, all those things that we are filling into our heart that creates love, that allows us to radiate out, and that's what changes our life and changes the lives of the planet, right? That's where we're coming from. So you have higher power. Don't forget that you are not alone. You are not in it alone. There's so much more higher guidance and strength and compassion and support than we could ever imagine. But when we call it in and we invite it in, first of all, we have to invite it in. We have to make sure that we're paying attention so that we receive those signs and symbols, those synchronistic events, that we're not blowing them off, because then Spirit's like, they're not listening. And we stay grounded in love. We stay grounded in gratitude. We keep our feet connected to Mother Earth. We keep our heart open to Source, to Spirit. We fill up with love. We fill that up. We radiate that out. We fill our bubble, and we radiate that out. Okay? So this is that collective message that they were wanting us to share. And so I love the cards because they completely bear out what has been asked of me to share with you today. And then the cards have completely aligned with that. So as we are moving into this place from the first quarter moon into the full moon, these are some things to keep in mind through this next week, because the full moon will be in about a week. Okay? I'm so happy that this is resonating with some of you. That is so wonderful. That makes my heart so happy. And see, what happens is when we pay attention to what they ask us to do, or we welcome them into our lives, we are able to show up exactly as what is needed in the moment for ourselves and for others. Proof that it works. All right. I know you've been waiting. So now we're going to do individual card readings. So if you would like an individual card, hi Beth, so good to see you. And see, Beth, you're like this little tiny Facebook little profile picture. So this is, when you show up in live and in person, it's a totally other, it's 3D. All right, so this is what we're going to do. First come, first serve. I try to make sure we get everybody in there. And we're going to do the individual card reading. So Janie is first, and then Gabriella. And then we'll get Gina over there on Instagram. So Janie. All right, Janie, what you need to know is the fates. And so this comes in upside down, so it's in the protection position. Janie, and this is 17, card 17. So 1 and 7 is 8. So you're coming to the end of a chapter. And it feels like maybe you don't know how to finish it. It feels like you don't maybe know how to close the door, how to move to the next place. And so this is reminding you that you're not alone. Okay, so this is still that same reminder that you're not alone, that it's okay. And see, I love this picture because they're giving you this hug, right? The fates are giving you this hug, but it does come in upside down, which reminds us that you can lean in more, okay? Lean in more. Open your heart more to them and let them guide you, because it feels like you're coming to the end of a chapter, but it also feels like, Janie, maybe you're not completely sure how to tie it off, right? So we come to the end of a relationship and the end of a chapter in our lives, the end of a period of work or whatever that relationship is, and it feels like maybe we're not quite sure how to completely close the door. And I don't feel like you have to lock the door, but I do feel like it's time for you to be making your exit strategy to walk through to the other side and just close it behind you. So allow some guidance, because I feel like there's some places that are missing that you're like staying longer than you ought to be. So hopefully that makes sense for Jeannie. All right, so we had Gabriella. Gabriella, while I'm shuffling, this card jumps out, so I know it's for you. This is No Peace Like Home, and this is card 50. So 50. This tells us you're in the middle. You're kind of right in the middle. You're right where you're supposed to be. This is a beautiful card. This is very much about peace on, I want to say peace on earth, but it's on your terms, right? So it's peace in your little world. And so, Gabriella, this is a reminder that you are okay. You are okay. You are right where you're supposed to be. You are absolutely on the right track. There's no wind. There's no storm clouds. This is a beautiful night. And look how much light is radiating out from your home. So where's the camera? This is how much light is radiating out from the home. So you are absolutely on the right track, Gabriella. This is something that's so important because I think so many times we feel like we just want somebody to tell us for sure. We want some kind of sign that says I'm on the right track. And so here it is, my darling. Here it is. So this is 50s. This card number is 50, which is like literally exactly in the middle of the road. So you are going in the right direction. You are moving forward. You are going the right way. Just keep going how you're going and keep the faith that you are doing it right. You are doing it right, because I feel like there's some self-doubt that creeps in there. So keep the faith that you're doing it right, okay? Hello, Claudia. Oh my gosh, my heart is so overjoyed to see your name pop up, my dear friend. Claudia and I go back to like junior high school. That's so awesome. She's awesome. All right, so who is next on here? We have Tilly. We're going to have Tilly, and then, okay, so if you haven't put in your comment, just hold the comments for me, because what happens is that on Facebook, they scroll up and then I lose them. So hold on to your comments for me for a second. So we're going to do Tilly, and then we're going to jump over to Instagram. We're going to get Gina, and then we're going to come back over to Facebook. So we've got, don't want that. All right, so Tilly, you're awesome too. All right, so Tilly, change the wind. Tilly, we've got a change in the wind for you. Okay, so this is card number 12. So 1 and 2 makes 3, which means you're definitely at a crossroads. Okay, so 3 can be an angel number. We've got, if you look at the shape of angel wings, they can be in shapes of 3s. So you have the support, and what I love about this is that the horse donkey has zebra has everything that he needs to go with him. So you have all the skills, you have all the abilities, but it's time for you to change directions. It's time for you to follow your heart and not where you feel like other people are expecting you to go, Tilly. So this is really important, because this is going to be a time for you to really stand on your feet, put your stuff on top of your, put your backpack on. And I love this image of the backpack, because it's kind of like putting on your big girl panties, like I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. But this is so much about, what is it that I want? And when I say I mean you. So what is it that sorry, something just popped up in my So what is it that I want? This card is all about, what do I want? Where do I want to go? And so, Tilly, I really suggest that you take some time, especially right now as we're in this period where the energy is going up to the full moon. Really, this is the perfect time for you to take some time to feel like, what do I want to shift in my life? Where do I want to go? What changes do I want to make? Regardless of what anybody else thinks, and regardless of whether you think you could. Take those two things out and really spend some time to sit in, what do I want? Because once you can figure that part out and you fill in with love and radiate that out like we've been talking about today, you literally can watch the universe create those synchronicities for you to move that stuff out of the way, to shift so that you can manifest and call in what it is you've decided you want. But you've got to know where you're going first. And so this is this reminder that it's time for you to take some stock and say, what is it that I want? Where am I going? Where am I going? So that's for Tilly. All right, we're going to shift over to Instagram. We're going to get Gina, and then we'll come back. Gina, my faithful Instagram friend, she shows up, doesn't watch the replays. She shows up live every week, and I love it. I'm so grateful for your support. So grateful. So we're going to have a card for Gina, and then we'll come back. Okay. You are welcome, Janie. So welcome. And then Brenda will be next. All right. So, Gina, breathe. This is card 29. So 2 and 9 is 11. And then 1 and 1 is 2. So this is breathe. And this is also in perfect alignment with everything that we were talking about in the collective message. Going out, being in nature, connecting with the ground, connecting with the spirit, with source, with light. Breathe. This is a reminder for you to breathe it in. Breathe it in. Breathe in light. Breathe in love. Don't stop breathing. This is a great reminder for you to just allow. Allow. Because I know you've had some shifting going on, And this is a great time for you to just take a pause. Take a pause. Breathe it in. Just breathe it in. Stay in that place of gratitude, but breathe it in. Okay? I hope that blesses you. I love you too. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So we're going to come back over to Brenda Murray. Brenda Murray. Okay. The reason the comments part is so important for so this is more shifting going on. So Gina, just keep breathing through it. Okay, just keep breathing it. Allow these things to develop as they do. You don't have to get in there and turn all the cogs, and you don't have to be controlling all the cogs. So this message, this card is about allowing, right? It's about allowing. Okay, so part of the thing about the comments over here on Facebook is I need to see your name and I need to see your little tiny circle of your whatever your profile picture is, Facebook. And so when the comments go by so fast, I can't see the name, so I need to be able to see your name. So all right, so we are coming back to Brenda. Go to the sea, Brenda. Go to the sea. Maybe we need a little salt therapy, a little beach therapy. But going to the sea isn't necessarily about going to the ocean. If you can go to the ocean and get a little what I call salt therapy, put your feet in the sand where you can stand, and that salt is so detoxifying and so purifying. And we have so many chakras in the bottoms of our feet, so even just standing on the beach, even if you're not in the water, is really healing. But it's not all about going to the beach. It's not all about going on an adventure, right? So you look at the card, it's like, I'm going on an adventure, and you may very well be. But what this is about taking the leap of faith, okay? Brenda, this is about taking the leap of faith. So you're willing to go on to the adventure. You're willing to get into the boat to take the leap of faith. Whatever that is for you, whether it's a new, job, new relationship, new location, whatever, they're talking about. This is about you being willing to trust Spirit, to go along for the ride, being willing to get in the boat. One of the most impactful books I ever read, and I'm Jewish, so I don't do a lot with Christian books, but there was a guy named John Ossoff. No. John Ossoff? I remember because his sister was a big director in Mary Kay, so I was curious to read his book. The book was called If You Want to Walk on Water, You Have to Get Out of the Boat. And it's about Jesus meeting the apostles on the water and saying, come to me. And I just thought it was such a fascinating story because it's not just about Jesus, it's about Spirit, about God, about Source, about oneness. It's about our willingness to trust them, which we saw that with the very first card we pulled about higher power. It's about our willingness to get in the boat, to be able to go on the adventure. And so, Brenda, this is the, where am I? I need your name, connecting back in. Brenda. So this is about you. Yeah, this is about you being willing to trust Spirit and being willing to get into the boat, okay? It's being willing to go on the adventure and to trust that everything is going to be okay, right? You may be a little bumpy at first, but it is about being willing to get in the boat and to take the step. So whatever it is that new adventure is that's calling you, that's in front of you, know that you are being divinely guided in that process. Even though it does feel like I feel I'm being led to feel like you are a little bit afraid of the journey. And so this card comes up to remind you that you are okay, you are not alone. Trust that process. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay. Let's scroll. So interesting. I said that thing about the comments, and now everybody that's commenting on the bottom, it's like bouncing back up to the top. So I'm having to scroll back down to find you all. All right. So who is next? Beth Boyd is next. Beth Boyd is next. Okay. Yes, living by Lake Michigan absolutely counts. You betcha it does. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tilly. Spot on. Lots to think about. Only me can make the difference. You are so welcome, my new friends. So welcome. Beth Boyd is going to be next. Let me just check out these comments and make sure. Excellent. Okay, you are welcome. You are so welcome. Happy to help. So we are going to go back up to Beth. All right. No? Okay, I feel like I'm supposed to shuffle this way. Hang on. Hang on, please. Okay, for my friend Beth, this is Milk and Honey. Card number 51, so 5 and 1 is 6. So over the hump, and into, starting to come into the rewards, coming into the, it's not the right word, reap the benefits. You put in the hard work, you did the stuff, you built the foundation, and now it's starting to have benefits to pay off. So the dividends, that's the word, thank you, dividends. So now it's starting to pay dividends. The work that you've been doing and the things you've been putting into place for your life is starting to pay dividends, Beth. So this is the time to don't take your foot off the gas. This is not the time to put your feet up and be like, whoo, done. We're not done. But you're starting to see the fruits of your labors. You're starting to see the benefits. You're starting to see that confirmation and build some confidence that you are on the right path and that you're on the right track. So enjoy it. Use those things to really prove to you you're going in the right direction. Use those things to help you know that you are not alone, that you are being supported both personally and cosmically, that you are feeling that the support, the evidence of things coming to fruition. Don't take your foot off the gas. Keep going, but just know that you are absolutely moving in the right direction, and you have gone far enough and worked hard enough that you're seeing now the benefits, the fruits of your labor. So this is a very exciting time. Keep going. Don't get lazy. All right. Claudia, my darling, did you want a card, or are you just saying hi? Let's see. I had to make a decision to change your life to do what makes you happy. Yes, absolutely, Tilly. You know what? If you stay in that place of doing what makes you happy, the money will work itself out. The money will work itself out because you will find a way. They will help you see a way to monetize doing what you love. And that makes a huge difference because you're radiating that out to the all the people around you. So yes, please. You're welcome, Miss Beth, my friend. Yes, please, my friend Claudia. All right. Claudia, come to the edge, 36. 3 and 6 is 9, so end of a journey, but there's a leap of faith involved in this, come to the edge. There's a leap of faith in stretching yourselves. Of course you may, my love. Stretching yourself to be able to trust again. And so I love this image because there's a famous saying, it's on the very bottom of my website, that says when you come to the edge of all that you know, you have two options, and I know I'm butchering it already. But you have two options. One is that there will be something solid for you to stand on, and the other is that you will be taught how to fly. So Claudia, trust, but take the leap of faith. And so we're seeing this as a theme today, right? Taking the leap of faith, trusting in the universe. And so this is this reminder that you are coming to an edge, Claudia. You are coming to an edge where it's going to be a pivot point for you, that either you're going to fly or there will be something firm for you to stand on. Trust it, believe in it, but don't be afraid to take that leap of faith. The same as we had with the get in the boat card. So this is all about trusting and taking that leap of faith. So you are, there is new opportunity in front of you, Claudia. There's a business opportunity, some kind of a door that's opening for you with a business opportunity. Yeah, this feels like maybe selling something or merging with something. That there's a business opportunity that's coming your way. So I feel like you're already aware of this, but I feel like you have not been taking it seriously. Like maybe you're like, no, and it might be worth investigating because I feel like that there's some financial gain in there for you. Also, there's some like flexibility that's gained by it. It's almost like you're letting something go. Well, let me know if that resonates. I hope that makes some sense. Susan Cooper, yes, of course you can have a card. Please me a card. Yes, ma'am. All right. And you might be the last one for today. All right, Susan. Okay, let's see. Ooh, 2. Hold up 2. That seems to be our collective ending card. Chaos and conflict. Susan, 33. So 2 ways to look at this for 33. So 33 for me, it's angel numbers because if you look at the shape of the angel's wings, they can be 3s. But you also have this duplicate number, the double numbers, which are angelic symbols as well. Also 3s tell us we're going in the right direction. We're on the right track. You are welcome, my friend. And also 3s because they like fold open like this. The 33, it's like the angel wings. But at the same time, here you have this chaos and conflict. So we think that with the number of the card, the numeric number of the card, because, and I don't even do 3 3 makes 6 because it's a repetitive, like it's the 33 is the angel number, and this is where they're telling you to stay. But and we have this chaos and conflict. But what I want to say to you is that this is a choice, Susan, that you don't have to jump into someone else's conflict. You don't have to jump into the fray. That sometimes it's really important, oftentimes it's really important for us to say, I see this chaos and conflict, but it's not necessarily mine, so I'm going to stay back over here, and I'm going to send love and light and prayers and good wishes and, you know, wisdom if it's asked, if it's requested, but I'm not jumping into the fray. And so this is really a reminder that you have so much love and support around you that even if it is your chaos and conflict and you're going through it right now, that you have choices to make. So I love this card because you have this horse that, is it a donkey, is it a zebra, is it a, you know, a giraffe, what is it that it has all of these different things on there. And I love this because if you kind of look close at the imagery, it looks like the zebra is going legs up, holding onto the bottom of the horse. And so you have these choices of who do you want to be? Who do you want, how do you want to show up in the world? And so while it feels like chaos and conflict, it really is about getting centered with self, knowing you have this angelic protection around you, and feeling like, how do I want to show up in the world? Because once you know who you are, my mentor Joe Shield loves to say, once you know who you are, you know who you're not. And I love this card because it's really so much about that. If you know who you are and how you want to show up in the world, then you'll know who you're not, and you'll know what doesn't belong to you. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for my new friend Susan. All right, so this is the last card. Hello, Ward. Welcome, welcome. This was the second card that came out with Susan when I pulled her card. So this is was given to me as the collective, another collective card just to finish us out today. And this card is community. And this is a reminder that whatever it is that's going on in the world, because right now there is a lot going on, okay? And it's so important that we remember we are connected. It's safe for us to stay connected. We are stronger when we're connected. I love this card because it brings us right back to where we started with that bringing in the love, bringing in the light, filling up our own vessel, and pushing that out in all the directions so that we are protected in our own self, but that we're vibrating higher and that we are spreading that love and we're pushing that love out in all the directions so that when we bump into somebody else, we're giving them some of that love. They may give us something else, positive or negative, but our boundaries are strong that we're not going to absorb something that's negative, that we have the opportunity to send love out into the world. And how we bump into each other, we cavitate off of each other. And when we're coming from that place of love, we're spreading that love around with all the people that we meet. And so we are part of the community. We are part of this community. We're part of our home communities. And it isn't about a tidal wave of love, but it is about making those differences with each person that we meet, right? Each one, reach one. And the story of the starfish, right, where the little girl is putting all the starfishes back into the water, or the child is putting all the starfishes back in the water, and the grown-up says, what are you doing? You can't possibly make a difference. And the child looks at the starfish on the beach littered with starfish and says, well, I can make a difference to this one. So it's so much about how we show up in the world. So we're making a difference. By being together, we're making a difference. So take this bubble of love with you as you go and share that with the others, because we are collectively making a difference. We are absolutely making a difference with our community. So, all right, Jess, very quick, because you're coming right at the tail end. I'm glad you made it under the wire. And one more quick reminder. Ooh, a jumpy card for you. One more quick reminder about the fundraiser for Dougie Center on the 10th of November. Tickets are $24 via Venmo. You can find more information on the page here. And once your payment is received, then you'll get the links to register for the Zoom. And we're looking forward to not just having a great evening, but also raising some great money for the Dougie Center. So for my new friend Jess, we have the card Orphan. So this is card number 5. So this is, again, a middle of a road card. And it isn't about you're right on the right track and the wrong track, because you're right in the middle, right? 5 is right in the middle. You're right in the middle. But this card is about orphan. But it reminds us that we are... Sometimes we have to go alone sometimes we have to really pull in and decide what it is that we want. And this has been something we've really been talking about today, right? What do we want? How do we want to show up in the world? But we're not alone. And so the card that came right before this was the community card. So this is really about getting centered. It looks dark and gloomy, right? It looks like you've been totally abandoned, but that's not what it is. It isn't about being abandoned. It's about centering yourself and coming into yourself and really feeling into who am I and who do I want to be and how do I want to show up in the world, regardless of anybody else around me and what they may have to say or think about it, because I'm the one in this body and I'm the one who gets to decide. Once you have that, then you can reconnect with community. So it isn't about being orphaned, it's about choosing yourself first. So I hope that that blesses you in some way, Jess. All right, Michelle, oh my goodness, right in under the wire. Last one is going to be Michelle, because I can't tell her no. All right, last one. I mean it. All right, last one, Michelle Krantz, mending, card 52. So 5 and 2 is 7. So you're going in the right direction. You've been over some humps there. You are very welcome, Jess. I'm so happy you were able to get here in time. But Michelle, this is about mending. So any of those places that there are still some residual like misunderstandings, miscommunications that I feel like came in from that long Mercury retrograde that we had back in September and October, that this is still some things that need to get cleaned up in there. And so this is just a reminder that it's time to do that and it's safe for you to do that. And just to let go of any of those little extra little niblets of negative that may be hanging around for you. Clean it out. Okay? So, give all you all back your energies. This was great. I'm so happy to spend time with you today. So exciting to see so many new names and faces pop up, even if they're only this big. Remember, our page right now is at like 985. I'd love to see us get up over 1,000. I'm absolutely excited to give away free books and free readings when we reach that part. So feel free to share me with others. And also remember, there is no meditation this week on Thursday, so we'll be back here again next Monday. So have a great week. Happy Halloween! Please vote wherever, if it's applicable to you, to vote. And always, always, always remember how very much you are loved. Mwah.